Hey friends, hey friends, hey friends. This is Rose, Coach Rose AJ, coming to holla at y'all with another special edition of Carnivore plus a little bit more. Today in the studio, who do I have with me?
Becky Elliott.
And Brenda Ramirez.
Hey, we are going to be talking about life lessons. Oh my gosh. What are some life lessons that we as three women over 50 have learned that we probably wish that we would have known just a few years ago, let alone maybe 10 or 20 years ago? So I'm going to start this conversation off by sharing three, just straight off the top. One is embracing my self worth. You guys, when I tell you about embracing my self worth, what I've learned is that it's not an external energy, it's not an external feeling to be loved and appreciated. I have to do that for myself, right? It's my own validation. It's all from within. So embracing my self-worth. And then the second one, oh my word, it's okay to say no. I don't need any other words behind that. I don't need to feel guilty, but it's okay to say no. And as I'm aging at 57, I am learning that time is of the essence. Time is very precious. Who I spend my time with, what I spend my time doing, I need to be filled with the thoughts that time is precious and I'm doing what I love and what I want to do instead of what I'm compelled to do or what I have to do, right? So, what about you, Brenda? What are some life lessons that you wish you would have learned earlier or maybe that you've learned recently that have had an impact on your life?
Well, I think one that comes to mind quickly is learn to let go of things. Yeah, learn to let go and know that you don't have to have things turn out the way you would like, or there are times where people may misunderstand, where there may be a misunderstanding or between you and somebody else, and it can come at a surprise, like, well, I wouldn't have expected somebody to take interpret what I said or did in such a way, um, where my intentions were totally not how they seem to have received it. And sometimes it's hard not to hang on to that, like, well, I have to fix their response. I have to let them know, oh no, sometimes you want to fix it, and sometimes it's not going to happen, and you have to be like, well, it take the hurt and the lesson and just go, it's going to be okay. And just because you don't know what's going on with the other person, maybe, and why they, I know it's hard. It's hard to be taken the wrong way, where you don't want to offend somebody in a way that where it's personal, or you don't want to hurt somebody. And I've had that happen where, oh my gosh, that it's hard for me to see that, but I know it's happened. And trying to fix it, sometimes it's not going to happen, so you have to just let it go. And that brings to mind, you mentioned letting go of things that no longer serve you. You've talked about that recently, and that's come up in my mind a few times. It's like, yeah, this isn't serving me well anymore. So I think just with our age, maturity, life experience, these things are like, okay, letting go is something that's really important, to be able to handle, have a thick skin sometimes. Well, that's kind of combining that with trying not being able to fix what has been broken or gone the wrong way. But also, I things can things can get better and change in an instant. I love that there's always hope for things, surprises, in a good way. I I've been nicknamed like for years, like this was a term years ago, Susie Sunshine, it's like where people would kind of get annoyed with me. Like, no matter how awful things were, I'd be like, oh, yeah, well, things are going to get better. I just always try to look for the positive. And I'm not sorry to be that way. Always have hope. You know, I think it's important to always have a way to look for the future to be brighter.
I would say I have learned along the way that when God is telling you something, you need to listen.
Mm, yeah.
There's been plenty of times when he said, no, this way. No, 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 this way. Go this way. And it's taken me a lot of years to go that way. But I'm always so much happier when I do. So I think, take the time and listen to what he's telling you. And it's it's hard to hear sometimes, but you're definitely better for it. My experience, the big experience was I had the opportunity to come to Texas, oh, probably 10 years before I actually did. I had a job, I had a place to live. I wasn't married. But no, I went back home to get my stuff and got talked out of coming. And later on, I learned that where I had the job, my current husband was shopped there. He was frequented that space. We could have met years earlier if I had listened to what God was trying to tell me.
Mm.
Now, I don't regret the choice because I learned so much about myself. I grew, he grew. We respect each other so much more because of what we went through in those years that we weren't
Mm.
together. But what if,
Yeah,
what if I had
Mm.
listened and come here? So, yeah.
Mm. I
I
like that.
love that. I love
Yeah.
that. It gave you guys time,
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
mature into the people for each other. I learn life lessons every day, to be quite candid. And I'm going to use work as an example. So we had a training maybe 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, about conflict resolution and what style do we typically use, right? So I knew my style. Oh, honey, I knew my style. There was a main style and then a secondary style. I'm a shark. I just go all in, no problems. Boom, 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 boom. That's just my natural style. And then the second one was like a collaborator in
Mm.
bringing everybody to the table, trying to find a solution that suited everyone. And that's also, but it's not my dominant style, right? So something that I learned is the way that I was sitting at the training, the trainer was at the front of the room. I was sitting like where I could position myself to see her, but like at a V. And someone else who's probably my age, we don't normally get along. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm very straightforward and she thinks she can be straightforward, but she's nasty about it. So
Mm.
we clash a lot, right? And the trainer asked me a couple of days later, what did I hear? What did I see? And she gave her perspective of this individual, and I gave my perspective of the outcome, whatever. And then when she told me but I was seeing her facial expression when I was using you as an example. She was like, oh, and I go, all I did was hear it. And that reinforced me thinking that she was saying, that bitch, no, because I didn't see the facial, I just
Right.
heard. And
Oh.
because the trainer and I had that conversation, it enlightened me. And
Mm.
now me and this young lady, we talk. We
Oh,
actually talk.
good. Good.
I was like, oh, she's not as cat as I thought she was. But so life lessons are being learned on the daily. Has there
Mhm.
been a situation with you guys, maybe listening to a podcast or having a casual conversation recently where you've had a life lesson, maybe not as huge as that, but something that happened that you want to share?
I would say it's okay to ask for help. Um, Even today, I mean, I needed assistance with something I couldn't figure it out for myself. I don't do it frequently enough. And so I was in a class and I asked and got it resolved and came home and did it and was like, okay, I did it. And it just, it took 5 minutes and the person was more than happy to help me. And I knew that they would be. It's just you have to get over that. I can do it all myself. Yeah.
Asking for help, is that normally hard for you to do in the general sense? Do
It
you know
means I
where
have
that?
to go somewhere and see somebody.
Okay, got it. It requires some effort, pushing you out of your comfort zone a little bit, it sounds like.
Well, and I guess acknowledging that, I mean, I know that I don't know everything, but I don't know. Yeah,
Okay,
please.
okay. What about you, Miss Brenda?
Well, like you, I think I'm learning things every day, but uh, I think something that I have to remind myself daily is to do the hard things or get uncomfortable. It's on my, I talked last month about having a vision board. Well, I didn't do pictures from my vision board. I got kind of, I simplified it very much by just putting words and like phrases on my whiteboard up here. But it's convenient and I can look at it
That's
and
great.
restate it. But there's like things that I'll be planning to do, such as making a certain phone call. And I did a couple of those phone calls this week that where I was like, oh, putting it off, putting it off. And it was like, come on, Brenda, just do it. And both of those phone calls were so great. Just really awesome. And it was like, gosh, why was it such a big deal to make that call? So yeah, because sometimes it's like, oh, it's been such a long time. But yeah, some of those can be uh things that are uncomfortable. You just got to do them to
Mhm.
to have growth in and make progress in whatever it is in life. And so I I encourage myself every day to do those kind of things. Now, uh, get getting to be consistent is something I'm working on. So,
Consistency is my word of the year. I hadn't
oh
picked
yeah,
one for the longest time, but that one just kept coming to me again. Somebody kept forcing it on me, and so I've decided,
ah,
okay. What I've done for that is I have made a list of weekly activity, daily activities, weekly activities, and monthly activities.
oh good,
Just to have it sitting there on the counter, and these are the things I want to try and get done each week. And so that's been my challenge for the last couple of weeks.
That
good,
doing okay with that?
Mostly, the first week I didn't get everything, so I kind of moved a couple things from daily to weekly. And so I'm just adjusting it, but I am sticking to it. So I didn't let it lapse after not completing it the way I wanted to. I'm tweaking it and making it work for me. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. We are closing out this episode of Carnivore plus a little bit more about life lessons. Do you guys have anything that you want to throw in? Or are we all good?
We're good. It's been great.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your time today, ladies. It's always great to be in the studio with you. And until next time,
bye.
Bye.
okay.